Hey guys, it's me, it's Mates December, and I'm back again. And I want to talk about a game that's very dear to my heart. Yes, it's called The Evil Within. The first Evil Within, to me, is a masterpiece. It's amazing. I love that game so much. To this day, I'm still stuck on the Akumu one. I'm trying to go through Akumu so I can get the plat on the game. Now, I gave up on the Akumu for a few months because I was just like, I need to get through some other games. Especially games that just come out, and I was like, I can beat them, trade them in towards other games. But the first Evil Within to me is fantastic. It's creepy, it's dark, it's got so much in it. The character of Ruvik is great. It's demented, and then you see why he's demented because of the whole, I created this, and now they're using him to do it. Now, if that's spoilers for you, you should have played the game when it came out. I think the game came out, what, 2015? I think. I don't know. I don't keep up to date with games by years. I just know how I played them and how I enjoyed them. Then I played the DLC on the first game, and I loved the Julie Kidman ones, where she's been followed by these figures who she'd worked for and all this. And I thought that was great. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the stealth mechanics. I enjoyed the weird watcher looking thing that had high heels on and leggings and sort of looked sexy as hell, but had this light head face. I can't remember its name, but I enjoyed that. And then we got the Executioner DLC, which was utter garbage. First person view where you're running around hitting things. Absolutely horrible. Why they put that in there, I have no idea. But we're not talking about that game. We're talking about The Evil Within 2. Yes, that's right. Up close for you. Evil Within 2. Now, I'm going to say this. This should be a given. This conversation about this game will have tons of spoilers. So if you don't like spoilers, get the hell out of here now. If you don't mind spoilers, stay with me and listen to someone who loves the original game talking about this game. So you got a 3-second warning. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to spoil the game. So you go in the game. I was like pumped when this game was announced. I was like, oh yes, Evil Within 2. Can't wait. Day one, must play that motherfucker and just get in there, play it, ignore the wife for 4 days and just play through the game, play it, do everything in it, and just be like, sayonara, baby, to the wife. The truth is, I picked up the game. I said to my wife, I need a 4-day weekend, which was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, to play the game. And you know what? I ended up taking breaks from the game. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But I ended up taking breaks from it because it just didn't have that feel. So let's start off with the story. The story starts off with you running into this building on fire. It's your house. And you hear your daughter crying, Lily. And you're like, I'm going to get you, baby. I'm going to get my daughter. And I'm going to get the hell out of this house. And everything's going to be fine. Right? So you have to go through the fire. You have to kick down the door. You go upstairs. You go into her room. And guess what? She's there. She comes up to you. And she's on fire. Face is burning. Your face is burning. You're like, oh, this is getting dark and creepy already. Right? Then what happens is he wakes up. And he goes, what? Because he's in a bar and he's getting pissed. And he's like, give me more, give me more beer, give me more beer, and you're like, bloody hell, Sebastian. And that's when you notice it. Sebastian looks nothing like he did in the original game. And at the same time, you realise he's voiced by a completely different voice actor. And you're like, oh no. So when he says Sebastian Castanuelos, it doesn't sound foreign anymore. It just sounds like some American guy just going, Castanuelos, oh, and you're like, oh no, they've changed the voice. And then he looks in front of him, and none other there is but Julie Kidman. Julie Kidman from the first game is in this game, and you're like, what? Hey. And then you realise her voice sounds different. Yes, I think it was a different voice actress. Could be wrong, but I think it was. So she tells him, she goes, Sebastian, if you want to find us, we find you. Because he says, I've been looking for you for 3 years, baby girl, because I want to spank that ass. And she says, You know, he did, and he's so sorry. So basically, she says to him, "If you were to find us, you can't find us. We find you because we're in the shadows. We're Mobius, and we're basically, I guess, like I don't know, like those hidden, things like you find in all these things where you can't get to them because they're in the darkness. They control everything, and they're this." And he says, "What the hell do you want?" And she says, "Lily's alive." And he goes, "Lily's dead." And she goes, "No, that's what we wanted you to think, Sebastian, so that you won't come looking." And you're like, what? You know? So apparently the house was on fire and she was screaming and something Mobius just took her. So did they have a portal that opened up and they went, "Come here, baby girl," and pulled her throat? How did they get out of the house with her screaming up there? Or was that just all in his dream because he wasn't there when the house burnt down? And so anyway, he gets into a fight with Comoros agents and they shoot him with this thing that knocks him out, basically an injection. So at that point, you're sitting there going, what are the other people in the bar doing? Did they just let this happen? Why didn't anyone go, what the hell's going on here? And why does Julie Kidman have one glove on her hand and look like Michael Jackson? You feel like she's going to grab her a crutch, go, Shamo, But anyway, he wakes up, he's in a wheelchair and he's tied down. And he's like, "Oh, what do you want? Oh, I'm coming, let me out of here, let me out of here." And then you get the mysterious voice go, "Hello, Sebastian Castagnoli. Your daughter Lily is in STEM, and we want you to go in and get her." And you're like, what? So STEM, if you remember the first game, was Rubik's mind. He created STEM, and you were technically in his mind, right? And he would do amazing things with it, amazingly terrible things, and it had so much potential. In this game, right, you go into STEM, and yes, in the end of the original game, I remember she helps him get out because he's actually in there, even though you have no idea how he got in there in the first place, from what I remember. So he goes into there, and Julie Kidman goes, "You'll be contacting me throughout, so you'll be in STEM, but you'll still be talking to me on the communicator." So he goes in, right? Yes, I'm telling the whole story, and this may take a while. And I'm sorry if you're getting upset, but I'm trying to do it the most fun way possible because why the hell not? So he wakes up, right? He walks down this water where he basically runs towards the house. And then you get Claire de Lune playing, right? And Claire de Lune, if you remember, is the mirror from the first game, where you were like, "Oh, there's a mirror, so I can go and do this, I can save, I can do whatnot." So he basically wakes up walking down that walk on the water to there, and then he basically realizes he's in the house. And you walk through the house, and it's got this creepy atmosphere, like any house which is practically dead, And you're like, okay, so this is basically kind of like in the first game, which has a better beginning because you kind of go into the building, Ruvik sees you, and then you end up hung upside down. If you remember, the guy with the chainsaw and the dagger or whatever it was cutting up a body, and you swing, cut yourself down. You go upstairs, but pickpocketing the keys, and he chases you. In this, you basically go through the building, and you basically knock over a painting and this character in it, which is a boss called Stefano, who takes pictures, right, as he kills people, and they carry on in motion. They move back and move back again, which I thought was a really, really cool idea and really artistic for, somebody's supposed to be an artist, And I was like, that's pretty good. That's pretty cool. And then you get the chase scene. And I'm like, okay, so basically you're doing the same thing as in the first game, but with a different character, who's basically made up all these body parts, right? And in chase you, they've got like these baby arms on the end of their arm, and all like 6 different heads on their head, which basically all look like the same head, if you ask me. And it giggles like this, ooh, ah, ooh, and you're like, "Oh, that's creepy," because there's nothing more creepy than seeing baby hands. And you basically run from her and she chases you, and then you get hit by Stefano with a knife, which you end up keeping through the game, this knife. So you jump through like this door and you end up in this house, right? And you walk outside and you pick up your trusted gun. Now at that point, I'm like, why the hell did he go in STEM without like this ammunition pack? Where, you know, I won't go into anywhere. If I knew there was problems in there, why the hell would I just go in there without any ammo, without a gun? Why would the gun have to be found? So I thought that was a bit weird. Then you end up in this world and you go around, you meet this character O'Neill who tells you you have to follow the voice. And at that point you sneak around, you get your agony bolt thing, you know, the Walden crossbow, which is crap compared to the first one. I have to admit, the Walden crossbow in this is so much weaker. Even when it's upgraded, it's terrible. I hated it. The Agni Bolt one in the first one was fantastic. I enjoyed doing all the stuff with it. Even though I got conned because I didn't get the last chance of pack on the first guy. I didn't get the poison bolts. But so he starts finding the voice. You go around to these bits where there's like voices and you follow Lily's last steps to where she's got to go, right? And you basically keep following, and then you end up in this place where you bump into Stefano and he calls up the enemies, and you get these like two-headed creatures which basically run at you and jump at you. One's got big teeth, and if you hurt, there's like this whimpering side on the other thing. If it turns around, you can take care of it. Now, I didn't like it because I didn't like the first bit, and I'll tell you why. Because when you get to this, now people call it open world, right? It's not open world. I guess it's semi-open world, I guess, but it isn't open world. To me, open world is a massive world. To me, this, you could go to one point in the map to another in about 3 minutes, right? And that's if you took your time, right? Going around, if you went around the whole area, it'd probably take about 10, 15 minutes, you know, if you're going everywhere. So it wasn't really open world, but the problem I had with it is you're sneaking around, right? And you feel, straight away, you feel that there isn't enough darkness. You feel like there isn't enough thing. This whole open world kind of, I guess, feeling that people keep going on about isn't really open world. So you go around looking for basically weapon parts to upgrade your weapons. You kill enemies to get the slime, you know, the green gel. And basically you have to find red gel to keep updating and so forth. Upgrade. So you go from there, you find Lily's voice, and then you end up going to chapter 4. Now in chapter 4, you get your first real boss fight, which is the creepy heady thing with the baby arms, which has this massive saw, right, which if it slices you, hurts you. Now please remember, when I talk about this game, I'm playing it on the hardest difficulty. I'm playing it on Nightmare. I'm not playing it on easy. I'm not playing it on casual like most of the people do. I'm playing it on Nightmare because I like playing my games, especially games that I really want to get into, on the highest difficulty so that I can get through that. And then there's classic mode, which I'll get to in a minute, right? Which you unlock after doing Nightmare mode. And basically, you basically get the mid-sets. We'll talk about that later. So you fight your first boss battle. Now, on this boss battle, right, and hopefully people listen to my advice. There's a lot of people going, oh, you run around, you go for... Don't do any of that, right? Just walk around it. If you walk around it, it goes to attack you and misses you. You can then just shoot it. Boom, boom, boom. Move again, it misses you. Boom, boom, boom. You beat the boss in like 2 minutes, right? Just by shooting it, by moving out the way of the sword, because it's so bloody slow, right? You're like, come on, really? So you get in, and basically, in there you go, and that's where you fight Obscura, which is the second boss. Now, you've got to put this emitter into this machine that's supposed to make the area clear of enemies, right? You put that emitter in because you find the guy dying, and this is how the guy talks to you when you get there. He goes like this, who's there? Who's there? And you go, it's Sebastian Castanedas. And he goes, oh! And now this bloke is not 90 years old. He's a 20-year-old soldier, right? Who is it? Sebastian. Who? Sebastian, right? And you're like, come on, right? He then goes, here's the emitter. You've got to point in, here's the transmission thing. You've got to point the emitter to start it. So you go around this place which is empty. There's no enemies in there, and you're like, why isn't there enemies in here? Why isn't there enemies? And why isn't it darker? Yeah, the lights are gloomy, but why can't enemies jump out? Why can't enemies be around? Because when you walk around, you get these shots of basically Stefano's work, and him basically doing things to this girl, saying, "I'm gonna make it work," and all this on the wall when you hear him. And there's a bit of darkness in there, I guess. And you hear this banging on the door, but nothing comes through the door. The door just opens. And you're like, why couldn't there be some sort of enemy that jumps out of a painting or something randomly and scares me? Why isn't there like enemy that's going to jump out the closet and get me? Something that just makes you jump. Something that makes you go, what the F? And so you carry on and you meet Obscura. You put the thing in, it goes, you got 90 seconds. Now, Obscura is basically this crawly thing that moans like a woman having sex. So it goes like this. Oh, woo, ah, woo, and you're like, okay. You're like, okay, yeah, right. Yeah, this isn't being a bit pervy at all, is it? Now, I can imagine a 12-year-old boy or 13-year-old boy putting this game on, going, I'm not going to play the game. I'm going to hide in the corner and take care of some little business. Because if I was 13, 14 again, I think that's what I'd have been doing. I'd be like, you know what? I can't watch porn. My mum won't let me. I can play this game. And this game pleases me in my sexual urges, right? But, I'm playing with the wife. So I can't do that. But anyway. So anyway. 90 seconds, right? So you're shooting it, you've got to shoot it in the cam on its face, right? And you shoot it twice on Nightmare, and basically the time carries on, and then it takes another picture and stops it. I did like 4 times. On casual, because I've seen people do it, it's 1 shot. Which is quite boring, because it's very easy. Because it's like 4 times. So if you shoot it 4 times in a thing on casual, you're not really getting a challenge. You know what I mean? So you fight that, and then you call up Kidman, and you go, hey, baby girl, I'm going to get Lily, and then I'm going to get you. I'm going to tap that ass. And you're like, what about Moira? What about his wife, Moira? What's he thinking about her? What? So you end up having to go back, and you have to go through the marrow. The marrow opens, and you go to chapter 7, where you have to look at these 2 paintings, and Stefano apparently says, appreciate the art. And basically what you have to do is you have to go to this bar and this hotel, and you basically have to destroy the paintings. Now, it's not that simple. You get pulled straight into the paintings, right? And then you've got to go in there, you've got to get the keys, and then you've got one room, you get the key, and then you have to get past these lost, which are basically crappy zombies. And they're mostly throughout the game. And the problem with these characters, or these enemies, I should say, is they don't do much. They go, ooh, and turn around. They do this twitching and, nothing good about them. And then there's these women, but everybody online calls the witch, which is this thing that goes like this, ooh, and there's a knife. It just slices through you, She looks like a mixture between, I don't know. She's got like this alien-looking head shape, right? And she's got like these white features, but then she's got this really angry-looking face. She looks like that. So she looks like a woman who you got drunk one night, you slept with her, right? And the next day you're like, I'm getting the hell out of here, right? And she keeps following you, right? And you're like, oh no, it's that voice again. It's that girl. She's following me. And you want to run away because you're like, she's going to stab me. She's going to cut off my penis. And she's going to do bad things to me. And that's what you feel like every time you see that enemy. So you basically get the keys. You have to fight Obscura again. You have to sneak by. But Obscura apparently can kill you now. In the original boss fight, she could kill you. But it was very rare. She mostly ran away. In this, she chases after you and pulls you down and just stabs you in the face. Right? So you have to put basically put down shock bolts and freeze bolts and whatever you've got to shock her, and you get through, and basically then you have to basically move between these barbed wire traps to get to the actual work of art to slice it in pieces. And then once you do that, you get kicked out of the painting. Now, my problem with this barbed wire light up bit is when you are doing it on Nightmare, it's so easy to get electrocuted all the time, right? Now on casual, there's barely any barbed wire there, right? If on casual you're getting hit by barbed wire, you shouldn't be playing the game because you're fucking terrible, right? You're absolutely stupid if you're getting hit on casual. But there's like 4 bits there, right? You should be getting hit by it because you should be seeing it. So after you've done the paintings, you then go into the theatre. And this is where you get Stefano fight, which is another boss fight. So you go into the fight, right? Stefano's like this. I'm a piece of art. I'm going to make art out of you. Me and my camera. We're so precious. Oh, yeah. Look at this. And he takes pictures, right? And basically what he does is he basically stops time and puts these explosions in it. So if you go near the explosions, you blow up, right? But at the start of the battle, you're like, oh, okay, you just move out of the way. Because when you time his teleports and he runs to you, you can shoot fairly easy, right? Decimate. And then the hard bit comes. Where you get these tentacle things, because this big eye, if it opens up behind him, these tentacles and start bashing down these. So you have to keep moving out of the way. Now, you then have to basically kill the guy, right? And he tries to turn out a picture in a cutscene, he's shooting through the camera. Very cliched, you know. It's basically like, you know, like when you watch James Bond, it goes da 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 da, and he does the, you know, the gun barrel and he shoots it. It's basically that. And you don't see it like that, but that's basically what it is. So then he says to Kidman, he goes, I took Stefano out. I did more than get him. I eliminated him because I'm a man. And being a man, I take care of business. Like I'm going to take care of your ass. And you're like, bloody hell. So after you kill Stefano, you find out that Myra is in the game. Spoiler alert. Myra is Sebastian's wife, right? And at this point, you're like, wow. So, but Myra's in there. And she's talking Lily. And she tried to kill Sebastian. What the hell's going on? That's his wife. That's the woman he loves. You know, when he's not feeling back Kidman's house, that is. So then, right, he gets knocked down into this thing, and you're walking through this creepy, like medieval lit up room, and you're like, what's going on here? We're gonna get some new enemies. Or there's this guy going, hello, Sebastian. And the only way I can imagine, the way I can describe his voice is it's like, you know, when you go and you see a preacher, right? And like a black preacher, and now they've got that amazing voice where you listen to them, you're like, this is very intoxicating in the fact that you could listen to it all day, right? And I feel like preachers black preachers in particular, are really good at that because they've got great voices, you know. Like if I started preaching, my voice would be like this: "Oh yes, the heavens above," and all this, right? And that sounds stupid, but when you get real preachers doing it, it's amazing. So basically, you start hearing Father Theodore, and he starts going stuff like, "Sebastian, you want to find Lily? Oh, Lily's here, Lily's coming," you know, and you're like, "What?" And I can't believe how long this video is. It's 23 minutes. I'm not even halfway through the game yet. Well, I'm halfway through the game, but I ain't even got to the best bits. So he basically keeps talking. Sebastian. He goes, "Oh, you want forgiveness? You're seeking redemption." He opens all these doors. You go through it, and then you meet a new enemy. And these enemy are flame guys. Now they look like Thing. You know Thing from Fantastic Four. They look like that, but a smaller version. And they basically set themselves on fire, and then they lose that fire, and you can kill them. But what a pain they are on bloody Nightmare. You'd shoot them, right? And like one guy lost his leg, and he was still running after me. How do you run on one leg? Yeah. So there are glitches in the game. So you get past that. Theodore's like, "You want redemption for laying down Lily?" And you're like, is this really what this game's about? It's about finding Lily, wanting redemption because you're a shit father, because you were always basically taking care of business. Whether that was on the false or taking care of business with women, I guess, so, and becoming an alcoholic because he's like, drinking all the drink. Stone Cold Steve Austin style, you know, and the rest of you know. And basically, then you go through the game and you get put into this thing where you wake up in your home and you're like, oh, what am I doing back home? And you hear Myra say, I forgive you, Sebastian. You've always been a good man. I love you and I would never trust anyone else with Lily but you. And then you get this like weird image where she turns up, she sits down next to him and says, I believe in you. And it's like, so is this real or is this him imagining it? Because he's believing that, but then she's trying to kill him. And you're like, so is she talking to him? Is it his imagination? Or is she trying to kill him? And that's the imagination. So you're like, what the hell's going on? So he goes, at the end of that, he goes, she's right. She's always been right. I'm a good man. Nothing's ever going to stop me. Nothing's going to stop me now. And he starts dancing. All right? But before that, because I forgot this, there's another boss battle. Your good old friend O'Neill, who never leaves the South House, somehow ends up on the other side of the game. And Father Theodore has made him carry a flamethrower and wear this stupid mask, which I guess is like this gas flamethrower mask, right? And he basically goes, oh, and he's fighting you, right? Because you basically got to avoid the flames and you run around this big thing, pulling the levers down for the sprinklers and all this. And all you hear is O'Neill going, Father, I told him he couldn't do it. Father, forgive me. Father, I told him he couldn't do this. And you're like, O'Neill? O'Neill? You know? And you just sit there going, bloody hell. This guy's whiny when he's not this way. And he's even more whiny when he's believing in something. Oh, God. So the first thing you think is, please let me just kill him. Just shoot him in the head for like 10-15 minutes on Nightmare. And he takes his mask off. And he'll shoot him in the head like another 10-12 minutes. No, it's not that much. Probably 3 more minutes more. And you're like, come on. Seriously? Come on. He's got facial marks and I've shot him in the head like 10 times in a row. You can't even see his face. And then he goes down the cutscene and you can see his face again. And he goes like this. He's like this. Oh, Sebastian. Who is it? And you're like, oh, not this again. Well, he goes, Sebastian, thank you. I can't hear his voice anymore. He made me make this machine to hide him. But the machine's in the other room, so you can just destroy it. And you're like, yeah, Father Theodore didn't think this through, did he? I'm going to get O'Neill, the technician, magic guy, to make me up a thing that hides me. But I'm going to do it right where Sebastian will go, kill him, and then he'll get me out in the open. And you're like, Father Theodore, you didn't see that coming, did you? So you beat him, you blow up your emitter. Torres dies. I didn't tell you about Torres. You meet her in chapter 10 when you're defending this thing. And she's like this typical army woman where she's like this tough woman, you know, I can kill anything. I'm helping you. I'm working with Kidman because me and Kidman and Myra want to get Lily out the machine and we needed you to come in to carry on the plan. And you're like, and then you find out that Theodore was a part of this plan, but he decided that STEM was too amazing and that he could take Lily and take over Mobius. And you're just like, what is it with this thing? This game is all over the place. 1 minute Stefano's like, oh, it's me. I've got all the power. Then it's Father Theodore straight after. I've got all the power. And you're like, this game goes in sections. So you get basically the beginning, where you turn up and you see Stefano. You then beat Stefano in chapter 8. Then you have to go against Father Theodore. And the Father Theodore fight is terrible. So to start off from chapter 13, I think it is, you go outside and basically it's the same world as, it's the same place as chapter 7 where you had to destroy the painters. But now there's Harbingers. And Harbingers are basically O'Neill where they've got the flamethrowers. And you can silently kill them, but you have to do it 6 times in a row. And they're easy to get to if you're not that slow. You know, you can run up to them and go right in the back. But you have to do it 6 times. And you can basically what you do is you get that for fuel cans, and then you can basically operate the flamethrower. O'Neill drops. So you got to go through there. You got to go to the hotel. Now, in my classic run, I did that so easily. It was like bloody hell. There might as well be no one there. Nightmare blown up over, over again, over and over again by these big fat things that have like 4 arms. They look like they've got 6 babies on them, but babies have got big massive pussy bits on their chest. And when they see you, they run up to you and explode and basically kill you. So you go to the hotel and you meet up with Hoffman. That's right. Hoffman from the Saw movies. He's in there. And he's like, I'm here before I do the next trap for Jigsaw. I'm going to take care of business. You're like, no more business. All right? No more business. But no, Hoffman is I think, her name's Yukio Hoffman. And so I think she's Japanese. And basically you meet her in chapter 6. She's just a psychologist who basically watches everything. So I didn't feel the point in saying anything until now because she doesn't say anything or do anything really. So she's there and she's basically got O'Neill's thing, and basically there's this big fire bit and you have to walk through the fire, and she has this thing that she carries and it moves the fire out of the way. But during this whole section you get attacked by these guys with the fire, right? Now you're probably thinking, oh, this is really hard. And it is. It's very hard. Until you know exactly where everybody's coming from. Once you know the pattern, the timing, you can do it over and over and over again without even flinching. Even on classic mode, even on nightmare mode. It's the most easiest thing going once you get the timing down. I was dying like 6 times in a row. And then I started counting, you know, how long it was between the things. So for instance, if one guy came from there and one guy came from there was 2 seconds where it came in and 1 second. So if I shot that guy like 1, 2, I knew if I turned around straight away, the other guy would be there so I could shoot. So that happened, you kill them, and basically then Hoffman, it was worthless, gets burnt to death because the thing breaks and you leave her behind. And you're like, oh shit. So everybody who was in it with me is gone. Everybody I met along the way died. And you're like, is this a symbol of what Sebastian is? Sebastian, everybody cares about, dies or gets taken away. So he goes like this. This is what Sebastian says as he carries on. He goes, oh, Yukio, I'm sorry you died. I'll beat him. I'll beat him for you. And I'll beat him for Lily. And you're like, she don't give a fuck. She's dead, right? The whole point was she did it because she wanted to help him find Lily, right? But you're like, that's somewhere you knew I was going to die. That was a red shirt. You knew that. Same with O'Neill. You knew he was going to end up somewhere because these people suck. You know, they don't offer anything. When Torres died, I was like, yeah, that's going to happen because she ain't going to help you through the rest of the game, is she? So it was obvious. So you basically walk into this thing and you have to go through this whole fire area and avoid these things. You go up in this cage lift, which reminds me a lot of the first game, because there's a bit in the first game we go through. Well, a couple of them actually. And then you walk out and you get attacked by the chainsaw guy and you run, right? You're running, and you turn around, it's not there, it's in the lift. So basically this is a quick action thing where he kicks this medical bed, and he stabs the thing in the neck, and then he walks by and pulls it out and gets chainsaw through the guy. As he dies, barbed wire wraps around you. You get pulled in this next section where you have to go against the executioner. You know, or as I like to call him, Safe Head Man, right? And Safe Head Man, right? You beat him once, and then 2 of them appear. Now, what I want to know is with Safe Head Man is in the DLC, he's there because of his daughter, right? So can he make multiple versions of himself? And if he can, right? Why doesn't he just make like 20 of himself so he doesn't keep dying, and so they can just kill the guy in an instant? So once you kill all 3 of them, the safe box opens and Laura comes out and starts screaming. You're like, ah! And Laura's the easiest one because you've got to go around, you've got to turn these things, and then you've got to shock her and you pull the lever, and basically the flames kill her instantly. Or if you like me, you use the flame once, then you use the flamethrower and get the achievement or the trophy for it, because there's a trophy for being prepared this time. So you beat her, and then you find out that's Father Theodore Duck. You find out you killed Father Theodore by killing them, which I've got to be honest with you, I thought was really, really disappointing. When you see Father Theodore and you see what he's like before that, you think, well, there could be a really good boss battle with, where he uses his cane or walking stick or whatever you want to call it. And, you know, you feel like maybe he's going to, like, bend you over, spank you or something, and do really bad things to you, like turn the lights out and just appear, you know? No. That boss fight with those three bosses from the first game is Father Theodore done and dusted. He basically gets set on fire. He starts screaming. Myra turns up. He stabs Myra in the neck. And you're like, what? And she just goes and walks off and says, Sebastian, leave. Don't come after me and Lily. And you're like, what? Why? You're like, this is your wife. Why doesn't she want you? Is this because you've been tapping too much ass? Right? Because she's completely against it. She's like, I must protect Lily. You leave. So he ends up falling through this world, and then basically you meet these characters made out of this yellow thing, not yellow thing, this white stuff. They're like stone people. And you're like, it's the Lost again, but stone. And they're basically the same thing as the Flame guys. But again, stone, not flame and stone. And you're like, are we playing? Are we playing Pokemon? Are we playing a game where it's just the same thing again? A better example is Far Cry. The same enemies, right? And you think to yourself, it's really running out of ideas. Like, you can tell this story isn't as good as the first one. You can tell it's not deep. Now, I know why, because they changed it a bit, because the guy who did the first one, even though he was involved in this one, I don't think he directed it. I think he produced it or whatever. It's saying like that. I don't know. And so you go beat these things, and then your wife decides she's going to make this big, massive monster, which is like this Siamese-looking thing, where it's like two bodies and heads, and they're running along, and they've got like this red thing which you have to shoot, destroy. And it has this lamppost connected to it with like this electric stuff. And you're like, so I've got to fight this. And then after you fight that, you run up this hill and you fight Myra. Myra turns into this big machine, big thing, but just starts slamming down over and over again. And it's a very simple boss fight. When I first did it, I thought it was really hard because I wasn't moving out of the way quick enough. But once you get the timing, it's the easiest thing in the world. When I did it in classic mode, I beat it in one go because I was like, okay, I know what to do. You know. The worst part in the game is when you on Nightmare and on classic mode is when you run out of ammunition, like gunpowder. When you run out of stuff like that, because you're like, what am I going to use? Thankfully, the wife was smart. She said, use the harpoon. Now, I don't use the harpoon. I think the harpoon's crap. But on that final boss battle, I was able to beat her with the harpoon until obviously the spiders came out. I crushed them. Because when you crush the spiders, you get ammunition and stuff. So you beat her, and after you beat her, you see her hand sticking out this white stuff with the wedding ring. You're like, oh, she's dead. Oh dear, he killed his wife. And you just sit there going, what would my life be like if my wife did that? Turned into this big, massive monster. And then you had to say, well, by, stopping her. I think I'd be heartbroken. I'd be like, oh no, the love of my life. She's gone. I've killed her. Not Sebastian. He goes up to her and he looks at her and he goes, lifts her up and puts her on, out of the water. And she's alive. And you're like, okay, I shot your brains in, right? I killed you, but you're alive. Explain that. I killed Stefano, he's not alive. I killed Father Theodore, he's not alive. I killed O'Neill, he's not alive. So how the hell are you still alive? And he goes, you must come with me and Lily out of the machine. She goes, no, I'll meet you then. You know straight away she's not going to go with him. And then Julie Kidman turns on Mobius and she wants to help Sebastian and stop him once for all. And then basically her and Myra kill everybody in Mobius by blowing up their chips, right, in their heads. Now, the thing that I don't get, and this is a 40-minute video, I can't believe this, I'm really talking about this game. I'm talking about the story, I'm not talking about the stuff I want to talk about, yeah, bloody hell. Is she gets it cut out of her, but why would the big boss man have a chip in his head, right? If he wants people following him, right, and doing what he wants, why would he put a chip in his head that's going to kill him the same as them? That made no sense. When I asked Donna, she said, because he's probably controlling him with the chip from his head. But again, Doesn't make sense to me. Never does. The shooting sequence with Kidman, where you've got to shoot the people and kill them, one of the easiest things in the world. People have said the shooting is terrible, right? The reloading is terrible. One thing I've realized with the game is every time I want to take a shot on the highest difficulty, Sebastian had to reload. And the reload takes like 3 seconds. So I'd go shoot as someone's coming near me, and obviously I'd be like, oh, I need to reload. Right? I'd be like, shit, I'd die. Terrible. So anyway, he gets Lily out, and then he gets swinging. You see him driving down the road with her. And at this point, I'm thinking the car's going to crash into the car to make a sequel for the third one called Evil Within 3, Lily's Dirty Little Secrets. But no, that didn't happen. And you see Kidman give her a doll, right, which looks identical to what her mother looked like. And you're like, that's not creepy at all. So the game overall, if you ask me, was a letdown. It was underwhelming. It was a letdown because it wasn't like Evil Within. It didn't have the same darkness. The characters didn't stay. You know, when you saw Laura in the first game, you saw her like 3 times, you know. She was there. She was a part of the game. And when you watch more in that game, like the burning fire in the barn, you see Laura was friends with Ruvik. She's not just there because she's there. She's friends with Ruvik. So he created her in his mind doing STEM. When he's in STEM and stuff, you know, in his brain. In this, how the hell did Stefano get in there, right? You know, Father Theodore got in there, and you know I knew in that guy in there because they went for it to get to Lily. Another thing I didn't get was there's all these dead people, and all these people getting killed in the game. Like the bit with Stefano, when you meet him, there's like a whole cinema, or as they call it, theatre, full of people with bags over their heads with things, but he blows up. How did they get in STEM? How were these people in there? How was he in there? When you see STEM and you see where Sebastian goes in, there's like 8 bathtubs. So how did he get in there? And another thing I want to know, right, is Sykes got out, right? There's a guy called Sykes. When you do a side quest, you get back online and he leaves. He goes into a tub and disappears into wherever he's gone, right? Now, if he's in the real world, he would have had a chip in his head, right? So that guy got killed for nothing. So you help him escape, you help him get out. He says, I'll help you, blah, blah, blah. When Kidman presses the button, he must have died because he would have had a chip in his head because all Mobius agents have chips in their heads. So that made no sense at all. I was like, what the hell was this? So, you know, the creeping about was very much like, as a lot of people say, The Last of Us. You're moving around, you go, ooh, ooh, you know, and all this. You can easily sneak up on enemies and kill them. The false fighting bits weren't as bad as in the first one. There's so many false encounters in the first one, but if you haven't got a lot of ammo, you're screwed, right? Like near the end of the first one, where you're in that room with all the eyes looking at you, and then you get the big guy with the rocket launcher shooting at you. That is painfully hard on that game if you're not got ammo. On this game, you felt like you could just breeze through it. Half it, you could just run by it. If you were good enough and you managed your stamina, you could run past everybody. Except for the sequences where you couldn't, obviously, like when you had to turn the wheels, you know, to open doors and stuff. You had to kill people, and the killing people weren't that hard. The hardest bits were the false bits, like I said, like Walk of Fire bit. Until you've got it down, it's very hard. It's very annoying. It's a piss take. But that's what you want in a game. When you play on highest difficulty, you want it. So is the game that hard? No. Like I said, once you get the timing, piss easy. Do I think this is an easy platinum? Yes, I do. Me and Donald were playing it, and I complete classic mode in 2 days. And when I say 2 days, I wasn't playing it for 2 days. I was playing it for a couple of hours both days. So I completed it in 7 hours because I did a couple of hours in the afternoon, a couple of hours in the evening, like both days. Right? But classic mode isn't that hard. Classic mode is easy. I thought to myself, is it going to be like Kuma? No, it isn't. It's easy. It's not even that hard. It's 7 saves. You get 7 saves, and that's your lot. Now, to me, 7 saves is more than enough. Right? If you've got 7 saves, you're sorted. In my view, it should have been 3 or 4 saves, because then you'd have had to save in specific areas to be safe. In this game, if you do it every 3 chapters, which isn't that hard, you're done. You know, it's more than enough. Because you've got 17 chapters, And a few of those chapters you do absolutely nothing in. So like the first 2 chapters, easy. So there's probably about 4 chapters in there where you don't really fight anything. Even chapter 4, you can avoid that machine with the baby arm things and go in the side entrance if you're quick enough. Otherwise, it kills you. I didn't get to do that until after because, well, I like fighting things. I like killing things. I like and taking the jump. And when you complete the game, you get a Magnum gun, you get brass knuckles, and you get like infinite ammo, you get all these outfits and so forth. To me, that's pointless. Once I've completed the game, I'm not going to use that stuff. I'm not going to do any of that. So I had to clear up a little bit. Like I had to do some chapter specific trophies after I completed the game. So I thought, you know what? I'll go through the game on casual, get those things out of the way. I've already played it on Nightmare, Classic. So let's go through it on easy. And basically clear up, like, you know, shooting the back of his thing and blowing it up and stuff. So I've got the brass knuckles. The witch thing turns up, you know, the ex-girlfriend said about wants to cut off your penis, right? Punch it, she's down, dead. Everything dies in 1 hit. The ugly little things that scream and you punch them, they go, and they're dead. With the Magnum, I kid you not, I shot Stefano twice, and that was the end of the battle. It took 10 seconds. And I was like, they give you all this stuff after you complete the game, right? I'd have liked to have been able to pick up the Magnum during the game, not have it as high powered as it is, but be able to use it for an advantage doing certain things where I had no ammo. Like in the first game, you pick up the Magnum in the first game, I think around like chapter, I don't know, 10, 11. And, but no, it's after the game and you get infinite ammo and I'm like, I'm sure people love going through this, but once I'm done with the game, I'm done with the game. If I've 100%ed it, I'm not going to be playing it again, not for a long time. I mean, I'll play it when the DLC comes out, if there is DLC. But tomorrow, I'm going to go in GameStop and trade it in for $35. I don't need it once I've completed it because I've already done it. So, yeah, classic mode isn't that hard. Nightmare mode, not that hard. Easy plat. Out of 10, I'd give the plat a 3. And that's just because, you know, you can mess up now and again. The collectibles in it, fairly easy to get. You can find them practically everywhere. Locker keys, residues, which are basically these ghostly figures that when you tune in your communicator, you get like this scene of people talking. Mysterious objects, which are basically things from other Bethesda games, like Corvo's mask, the guns from Wolfenstein and so forth. And, oh yeah, the Fallout Boy. You know, Pip-Boy or whatever it's called. You know, one of those Fallout figure things. You know, Fallout characters, Vault characters. What else was there? There was something else. But I can't remember what it was. Oh, the slides. Now, if you find the slides, you end up going against this ghost thing. And this ghost thing chases you about, and you've got to do these things. I did it all on Nightmare, these bits, because I just followed going through it. I thought, I'll go everywhere and do everything. And basically what you do is you go back to your safe home, which is basically through the mirror, and you sit down his projector, and he does things like, you press it, he goes like, Kidman, you there? And she goes, yeah, I'm here. And he goes, I trusted you, and you let me down. Thanks, Kidman. And you're like, that's deep. So, you know, you think to yourself, so basically the game is this, right? He goes in STEM because he's a useless father, he's still got kidnapped. Myra, Theodore, Torres, and Kidman wanted to save wanted to save Lily, but they were so shit at doing it, they needed to get an alcoholic guy to come in and do it for them. Then they all want to try and kill him, except for Torres and Kidman, because he's trying to do the right thing and they want to stop him. And then he gets out, he gets got free with his daughter, and you're like, so how would they do an Evil Within 3? How would they do it? Now, I'm guessing if they did DLC for the game, the DLC would probably be of Myra and Kidman. That's what I'm guessing, right? Or maybe you play as Lily, running around trying to hide from people. Who knows? But overall, the game was disappointing. I'm glad I got to play it because it was okay, but it wasn't what I expected. I expected a lot more from the game. I expected to get that same feeling I did when I finished the first one. and that was to want to play it again and again and again. I played the first one 9 times in a month. Yes, in a month. And then I played it more because I loved that game. I absolutely loved it to pieces. And, you know, when you had the enemies in that, they didn't feel false. They felt like they were there. And it was just moments where you were like, oh, you know. But in this game, you felt like it was all planned. You felt like it felt like Last of Us meets a action Resident Evil game meets something like, I don't know. Yeah, I'd say Last of Us meets a Resident Evil game. And not that terrible Resident Evil 7 garbage, the action ones. And yeah, you know, those action ones are pretty bad in places. But that's what it minded me of, because it felt like this had more story. But it just felt like it didn't have that oomph that you expect from Evil Within. Now, when they bring out the DLC, if they do bring out DLC for it, I'm curious to see what it is. And I know I'm going to be disappointed by it, because I was disappointed by this game. And basically, this 50-odd minute video, which should have been 5 minutes, but I don't know, I rambled on, didn't I? I hope if you've watched the end of this, you can tell me what you thought of the game and what you wanted from the game. You know, I absolutely loved the first one. I'm glad I played this one. It's not that good. It's basically a father's redemption for being a crappy father and a crappy husband, and you know, wanting to tap some kidman ass. You know, and when they finished, I was hoping he'd bend over the car while Lily was in the car and be pumping her from behind. You know, while Lily was looking at the door of her dead mother. I was hoping we'd get something like that, but no, we didn't. We got them driving off and Kim looking at her hand because they have that Mobius thing, don't they? And I'm like, so the sequel, I won't be surprised if the sequel game, if there is one, has Kidman in, but not Sebastian. Because Sebastian's story's done, surely. He's not going to go into STEM again, is he? You know, so I don't know. But overall, I'd give the game a 4 out of 10. And I'd say platinum difficulty, a 3 out of 10. And I'd say if you like the first Evil Within, don't go into this thinking you're getting the same thing, because you're not. Right? The game is far from good. It's fun at times. And it's a decent game to play, right? But if you're going in thinking, oh, Evil Within, you're going to hate it. If you're like me, you're going to, it's not that good, it's disappointing. The lack of enemies, the lack of bosses that feel natural, and the lack of just gloominess and the darkness, you know. When I finished the first one, I felt like the darkness was consuming me, you know. In this, I felt like by the time it was over, I was like, oh, right, it's done, you know. So, yeah, that's Evil Within 2. If I spoiled it for you, I did warn you. I did say there's spoilers ahead. If you skipped through and then heard me talking about it, that's your fault, not mine. So, as always, guys, if you like the video, thanks for watching. Take care. And if you like it, subscribe. And let me know down below. I say this all the time. Let me know down below what you thought of the game. If you're going to pick up the game. If it's as disappointing as you thought it would be from looking at reviews of the game. Let me know. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. And I'll be back to talk about probably another game which either disappointed me or I loved. So thanks, guys. Take care. God bless. Sleep well. And don't have nightmares.